So ever since his first appearance at the end of Marvel's The Avengers back in 2012, the Mad Titan has been put on this high pedestal as this thing that's going to be so big and so huge for everything in the MCU that nobody can expect the ramifications of his arrival. And rightfully so. You know, if you've ever read the comics, and if you've ever seen specifically the comics that they're taking for inspirations for Avengers Infinity War, you know that Thanos is quite a formidable foe for all of the Marvel Universe. But at the same time, like everything else in the medium that's not a direct translation, you have to take certain creative differences and changes and approaches to these characters and play around with them and go in different directions, because you just can't adapt a comic book one for one, because that's not fair to the people that wrote the comic, because you're literally just mimicking what they're doing word for word and panel for panel. But at the same time, you also want to make it your own and subvert expectations. While recently talking about Thanos' specific motivations and differences from the actual comics, when they get down to it, this is what they had to say, and I quote, "But I think we took that passion that he has. He really is in love with death in the comics. He's a lovelorn, kind of sad little fella. We wanted to mention that level of emotion on his part, just redirected." So of course, as most of you know by now, Death isn't going to play a role in the movie. Like the character of Death from the comics, she's not in this for what we understand. And that's something that they obviously have to play around with, and his passion for Death and that character and how he's in love and his motivations. So essentially what they're saying is, instead of doing that, they've redirected where his passion lies. His passion now lies in rebalancing the universe and getting the Infinity Stones. And the result of him wanting them is of course the destruction of his homeworld Titan, which they've already talked about and I've covered here on the channel. So you can see how they're taking a different approach to the character, and honestly I'm really glad. I don't personally think the character of Death would have translated very well, and the whole love, oh he's in love with death concept, I think that would have been kind of, I think, hard to tackle even for the Russos, so I'm glad it's not in there. Would it have worked? Maybe, but what we're getting I think works infinitely better, because the stones have been built up as this powerful thing that is possible to change the universe if you put them all together, so that's quite a big motivator enough. You know, unlimited power and all.